grid.
Is it? Can you hear me okay? Or?
Loud and clear, as much as I can understand a South African with an Irish accent. Yeah.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There's Craig. All right, Craig's back.
Craig's back.
I gave up on the mic. And we're off.
Oh, perfect.
And okay, here we are. We're watching.
Sorry, guys.
Oh,
there we go. That's off.
So welcome. Here we are for Herd Summer Racing League. We're watching Jeff Aldrich. We've got a group of, it looks like about 6 in the D's. So we've got Jeff, we've got Paul Kelleher, and who else do we have? Paul Dennison. So we've got 3 herd riders of the and we've got Atchinger from Zed Sonar, and Steve Wilder, both of whom we saw last week as well. So the D race looks like it should be interesting. So the course, Richmond Rollercoaster. So Mr. Greenland, what do you think of this?
I have a love-hate relationship with Richmond. It suits me as a rider. But God, I hate going up these hills. They're punchy and they're fun, and it's these are the climbs I can get up before gravity starts paying attention. But God, it just hurts so much. You know, it's a flip a coin whether or not I vomit after one of these Richmond races, and today I did not. But it's just always a whole lot of fun. It makes you hurt, but you know that you've raced after a Richmond course.
Oh,
whole lot of fun. So yeah.
Did you do race 1, Chris?
I did race 1, yeah. So I had fun. I got it over with for the weekend. I've immediately delved into. We had some beers and some tequila for the Pink Tron earlier. Now I'm drinking some Bowman Brothers Virginia bourbon whiskey in honor of riding around Virginia here virtually. And I'm just riding around along with Jeff here. So happy to be here.
Oh, brilliant.
So Jeff is so the D's are already on the 23rd Street reverse segment, and they're heading up the hill. Looks like Paul Kelleher's attacking big time. Jeff is sitting in second wheel. So this is longer than 23rd in the other direction. It's almost the same thing where the 23rd reverse is a little bit longer, like Libby forward, and then and then the Libby reverse is shorter.
Yep, and that's fine. Like it's the way I look at it. You got to ride these first 2 climbs together. You're on the first one before you blink. You're super tucking into the first segment, and it doesn't matter if you're first on this reverse 23rd if you're out the back on the second climb. It's, for me, you got to combine the 2 because that ultimately decides how you approach the stretch down by the river and the climb up E Street and then the sprints. Like it's no good if you win this climb, but then you're off the back by yourself. So
yeah, so I don't think Paul has to worry about that, given that he's 17 seconds ahead of the group. I don't think anybody told him that it doesn't matter whether you beat them by 30 seconds or 1.
So he'll get an extra point. He's laying out a lot of extra energy for 1 extra point, but he's got it, and then we'll see how it all comes back together. There's a big move now coming out of Zison for P2 here, so we'll see how people respond. This is when it starts to flatten out a little bit. This is when the climb is ultimately decided, is on the flat part, ironically enough. Jeff with a big dig here, yeah. Now is the time to just lay on the pedals, get to the line. Come on, Jeff. looking pretty strong for P3 here. Ooh, it might be close at the line. But again, just tuck back in the group because you got to burn another match here in about 20 seconds.
Yep.
Quick descent down.
And speaking of 20 seconds, that's about how long until the C's start. So this is an interesting sequence here.
These punchy little climbs early just make it so exciting.
Mm-hmm. Exciting for us to watch. Exciting to ride, not so much because you just kicked in the crotch 3 straight times. But again, here we're back on it here with Libby.
I watched the stream from TJ and I was watching the A's of race 1. Oh man, lots looking forward to it.
And good job by Jeff here to kind of slingshot up. That's the toughest part. Is that 90-degree turn to the right is the sharpest pitch, and then it just slowly eases up, but not slowly enough. The legs just feel it the whole way up. It's a long drag to the corner here, and then you got to turn right, and then it's the banner, so you don't see it for quite some time.
Okay, so the C's have started as well. So we've got we do have Ed Whedon on the go there now. And to go with Jeff, who is currently doing very well on the second climb here. So on, I guess we call it KOM reverse.
Yeah, the names kind of get jumbled up on Zwift Power. But this is KOM reverse. But I agree, strong climb here. Looks, I mean, we don't know what our lone rider off the front did, but
well, we'll find out
Jeff
in a minute.
Is sticking with these.
Yeah,
we'll see the leaderboard here in a moment. Maybe not. I don't see it, but either way, you're going downhill now. So
yeah, so it looks like Jeff.
That one.
It does look like Paul was first, and Jeff came in second there. So
great.
Good start to them.
It was interesting because once you get through the 3 climbs to start the race, you're up on the fan flats for 5 laps, 6 laps.
Yeah.
And I thought there would be more lapped traffic. I was with the lead group of Bs in race 1, and the A's never picked us up. I think they were going about our speed in between the sprints. We grabbed some single C's along the way that stuck with us for a little bit, but the groups never came together. The cadence wasn't there on the laps and the lap times. So interesting to see how that plays out, because if you get big groups cross category, that can dramatically change the race, but we just didn't see that in race 1. Maybe that'll play out differently in race 2. Who knows?
Yeah. So it does look like the D group is coming together a little bit here. So Jeff and Paul. Yeah. So what is going on here? Okay. So we've got Paul kills. Yeah. Both Pauls, Jeff and Kilsby, all together, and so we've got a lead group of 4 with 3 herd riders in it now.
Smart. Be with the biggest group that you can hang with. It's not going to slow you down. That's the strategy here. You got to get up the climb in the biggest group because you got a very short sprint right after that, and then you're just on Richmond Sprintapalooza after that. If you're by yourself or off the front, there's no sense in being out in the wind. You're just going to be the slowest of your group.
Yeah, so looking at the C's now. So Ed Whedon he's on the climb. He's currently sitting In 21st place of 29, I'm seeing really 3 riders behind, so I think it's of 24. I think there's a few riders in the C-Pen who are watching. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, because he's got 10 seconds in front of him and 18 behind him as he hits the top of the first KOM. So that's rough. I know Ed, I think, has just moved up from D for cat enforcement, so he's it's a rough go those first few races.
It is, but this is one that definitely comes back together between the time segments. If people if people have read the race instructions beforehand, which is a big if.
Okay, and we are off on the Bs as well now. Oh, and we have... Oh. Where... So I've got Bowsering. Oh, I see Ali from Dirt. Dean Peddle, the other L. Jones from ATP. It looks like a pretty good B group. I'm sorry to miss this.
You would have had some fun there,
Yep.
Craig.
You can hop in. I'm sure you can catch up. You'll be fine.
Probably not. Probably not.
I was almost convinced into racing this.
Oh, I have an issue.
What's your issue, Craig?
I am showing the wrong screen. There we go.
Yeah.
Fixed.
Is our audio working now? More importantly, do we know?
Sure looks like it.
Maybe? Okay.
Yeah. Lisa's watching and hasn't said anything, so.
It's always
So if you
helps
hear
if
us-
when the boss is watching, listening. Small. I'm sitting waiting for the ace to start. Small field
How many we got in the A-pen?
at the moment. Possibly only 6. 3 of them there now. We've got Matt is in. He's lined up and ready.
Oh, we've got Matt. Okay, let's follow Matt. We haven't followed Matt. We haven't followed Matt in a long time.
I think we can see how Matt's.
See how Matt's recovery racing is going.
Yes.
We got the D's on this E Street climb now, all 6 of them together, and that's the smart move.
Oh, definitely. There's there's no point in trying to drop people at this point. You drop them later.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can, because that'll get somebody off the back for that Broad Street sprint at the end, but
It helps
If you
having
wanna
the bodies. Yeah.
yeah, it helps having the bodies. It's 5 instead of 6. You'd still be okay, but softening the legs, I think, is the goal here, not necessarily dropping people.
So Bowser's going hard as we approach the turn here, and he's this is a good time for Bowser. He's crossing the line in 4th, I think, and I'm pretty sure he was at the back when he started. So yeah, looks like a 4th place over the line for Bowser on 23rd reverse.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm watching in the D's. Paul Dennison is 2 seconds off the front going up this climb, and there's absolutely no reason to do that here because you want the draft to accelerate into that sprint, and I think he might be listening as he backs up into the pack here.
I would say so. I can kind of understand, like I said, softening the legs on the first half. You get that little plateau flat spot right in the middle.
Yep.
But you don't want to go. There's no point in going off the front by yourself here. You need riders to pull you along, and then
There's still too much
accelerate
of the race left. Yeah, too much left ahead.
Yep. So anything you're taking out of the account right now, you might need later when maybe the C group comes by and you want to tack onto them. The whole point right now is just to stick together.
So the last group is off in 2 seconds. And it's a whole 4 of them.
Ooh,
It'll be interesting.
Actually, it is kind of fun to play this with a low number of people, but
yeah.
it's more fun to have a little more than 4. But it can be interesting to have a smaller group to play with. Yeah.
Sorry, I counted myself. Who's in the pen? It's 3 riders that actually left the pen. At a moment there.
So we've got Stuart Lynn, Matt DeFreitas, and R. Mew.
R. Mew, yeah. It can be very interesting with just 3 of them.
Paul's having another dig at this as we get to the summit of E Street.
Well, and I watch, it looks like Jeff almost wants to chase him, and I'm like, what? Stop.
There's no point. Again, softening the legs is one thing, but you should have a magnet on your bike that automatically attracts you to the largest group in this race.
Yeah, no, it's just... be in a group, be in a group, be in a group. And it's not just this race. I mean, in general. There's... until you think you can make a break for the finish, there's no reason to be off the front.
So they made the right turn. They got the left-hand turn coming up. You want to be at speed when you hit that junction for the 60-meter sprint. But again, I got Jeff here with his nose in the wind, 2 seconds ahead of the group behind him. I mean, unless they're just dogging it along, and he just wants to sprint for it. So.
But he's not sprinting yet. He needs to already be sprinting there because there's the start and it's only 200 meters. Oh my goodness. So
go down to 0 and then you consolidate.
Yeah, so he beat everybody. Okay. No, Paul Kelleher beat him. What the blazes happened there? Everything switched around. Okay. Yeah, so he ended up in third. We've got Atchinger in second, Aldrich third, Kilsby, Wilder, and then Dennison in last. Yeah. So yeah, Dennison out front was, and yeah, that's just what I was saying. He was off the front by himself and ended up last on the prime.
Yep, and now we've got 6 chances to do a bunch sprint from back to front. So you want to be in the back of the group with speed and then pass everybody for the, what is it? This one's the monument sprint, right?
This is monument. I think it might be just called sprint, but it's Monument Street. Yeah.
It's amazing how difficult it actually is in while going to get into that position.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Although, you know, as I sit here watching the bees and see Bowser sitting pretty steady, you know, back middle. Yeah, it's you can do it, but
yeah.
So
it's tough when you take the Tatum approach to Richmond, which is attacking 500 meters before any segment actually begins.
I was sitting just thinking who's going to be doing this tonight.
And these actually can be tough start lines to spot. I remember I was on Discord for race 1, and Brent was on there and TJ was on there, and I heard from the A group TJ asking when the sprint line was, and Brent saying we passed it like 5 seconds ago. So if you're in a big enough group, it can be tough to spot. So
Yeah.
Maybe the Tatum approach is the right approach, and just always be 110%.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
In my
and then
case,
when it doesn't,
very seldom.
it's a magnificent explosion.
I'll never forget that one. Now to see if we can go early from the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these this group of Ds seem to have, at this point anyway, read the script. I don't know why they were going off the front before the first sprint, but they've grouped back up in 6 and looks good. The C's, Ed Whedon is he's still riding by himself. I think it. Let's see how he does going through the Broad Street sprint. Then we might jump up to the pack to try and catch the monument.
How's Maddie doing in the A's?
So Matt's doing great. Him and Mew have decided they were going to play a little cat and mouse game, and the two of them are going at it. Stuart's fallen and just a couple of seconds back, so he's decided he's going to ride his own race, do it his way. But we've got these two that are giving each other a bit of a go.
So Tatum, I saw what was going on, but I didn't see the finish. I know Matt was right on Mew's wheel all the way up the reverse of Libby Hill there. Did he get him at the line or?
No, he stayed. He stayed just on his wheel.
Okay, so I can't see the time there because it looks like the B pack was faster than the 2As, which isn't really unexpected because there is lots of draftable space there.
That's the thing. The Bs are a bigger group. It's only the two of them here, and they weren't, to be honest, not going bonkers up there.
Well, and there's not really a reason to. I mean, unless because it's a match race. It's just the two of them. They've lost Stewart off the back, so I think Stewart's probably not going to be able to really factor in too much. So it's going to be interesting.
Exactly. It makes it when you two you can either chill or you can give each other a really hard time. I've experienced it both ways in races where we just ride and cruise together, and then the other flip of the coin we really grind each other all the way.
Okay, so the D pack is approaching the sprint here.
Yeah, we got to go around this roundabout, and then we're basically on the lead in to the sprint line again. So positioning is key. I can't see power ups, so I don't know what Jeff is holding, but he's sitting second wheel.
They're really going for it, eh?
Yeah, this is that fine point where I saw this in race 1 where you don't want to lag too much because your overall speed suffers, but you also don't want to be in the front and taking the wind.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jeff definitely having a good here.
Yeah, this is real good. I think Atchington's going to get him, but that's a solid effort. Oh, wow. All the way down in 4th.
Are you seeing?
Yeah, so I'm seeing Kelleher first, Wilder 2, then Atchinger, then Aldrich, Kilsby, and then Dennison. So, yeah, it looks like Well, we'll see whether they regroup or not. We've got a couple riders a few seconds off the back.
That's much more delicate dance with only 6 riders on positioning and when you power through the sprint. So.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't. So it looked like Ed got 21st on the Broad Street sprint, and I've switched up to Nate Holm in the C's. So he's in the lead group, and
they're quite a big group.
Yeah, it looks like about 12 or 12 maybe 10 or 12.
It's more comfortable.
Oh, they're not pushing real hard. They're so it's starting to stretch out a little bit now as they approach the start of the sprint. Yeah, Nate's definitely ramping it up, and off they go. So one guy from Cryo has gone off and passed Nate right before the start line. That's almost perfect. He's got a really fast sprinter to draft. He's right on his wheel. And passing him right before the line, that looks real good for Nate.
He's a solid sprinter. I've seen him a couple of times even in TTs. Can sprint for them.
Yeah, a 12.8 is pretty respectable on that sprint.
Oh, totally.
Oh, so it looks like Bowser had an issue. He was stopped. I'm going to pop up to somebody else in the B's here. So we do have an M Wingman who is sitting in the B's from the herd. I'm going to find out who that is.
That's Mark. I've ridden with Mark a few times.
Mark Wingman. Okay, I don't know Mark. Do you know Mark?
Very solid rider.
Oh, good.
A little bit. Yeah. From ZRL. Yep.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So he's tucked nicely in that group, right? That's very smart riding from Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would expect from him. Looking at this front group of D's, they're just lapping the fan flats, which is pretty unremarkable, except for on the opposite side of the lap, you do have that 3% rise, which in a group of 6, I don't think you're going to try to power up and drop anybody.
This lap does actually offer a bit of race bike between sprints, which is...
Yeah, there's just that one rise where if you wanted to push it and maybe drop the 1 or 2 people who were back at the team car or on a natural break, or who just weren't paying attention, drop them off the back. But again, with a small group, it looks like we're all kind of in relatively small groups. I think everybody is just hyper attentive.
So the C's actually look pretty big here. I mean, they're a group of 12. So, and it looks like the D's look like they're 12 or 13 as well. So, or the B's, sorry. So yeah, the B's and C's are in kind of medium-sized groups there, and enough to speed things up. So the B's are approaching the sprint. We've got some guys going. Mark's starting to wind it up. They're in the sprint. He is in the front, guys, using his power up, going hard, and I think he's probably about 5th. Yeah, it looks like 5th so far. So definitely
Good
solid
sprinting.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like Ali from Dirt and Dean Peddle, formerly Herd of Cryogen, in front of him. So yeah, definitely some pretty strong sprinters in front and behind of him there. So good job by Mark.
So I think Matt has decided he's done his bit. I've now gone to Stuart. See how he fares.
Okay, so I've lost the ace.
Yeah.
So I've lost Matt completely.
Yeah, Matt was going to do about 30 minutes, but I think he's decided he's going early. So it's only Stuart and RMU left in the A's.
Okay.
And Stuart's now about 20 seconds behind RMU.
So this was just a recovery race for Matt, yeah?
Yeah, it looks like that was a recovery race.
Very on brand.
Very much.
a few minutes of stretching the legs. Surprising how small the groups are tonight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, definitely from talking to people through much of North America, it's really good weather this weekend. So, I mean, that's not going to help.
Yeah, this side part of the world as well. Everyone's saving their energy for the outside world.
That's no excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, this is only a 12-week series and your best 10 count. So
Yep.
if you skip this week and another week, that means you got to do Bologna.
I was just thinking you got to do the 100 kilometers.
I think I've already skipped 3, so I'm safe.
I've skipped 1, so gonna have to fit this one in somewhere along the line.
Yeah. And it.
Well, yeah.
What on earth are they doing? Okay, so Dennison is going off the front before the sprint.
Yep.
Kilsby is following him. I don't get what the D's are doing here. I absolutely do
I would
not
say
get it.
I like what Jeff is doing here and tuck in with these other two guys, get a little bit of speed, and then use your acceleration like now, not 500 meters ago, but
Yeah, go now. Follow Paul.
stick with these guys, and this 4 could be faster than the 2 who went off the front for no reason, I would think. But again, I don't have access to the numbers. I can't see the leaderboard.
There
It's
is
fine.
no point in going so early if it's not the last lap.
No, and yeah, so Jeff hit his faster time this lap than last. So did Kilsby, Dennison, and Kelleher. So, the guys that went off the front are likely the last 2 on that sprint for that lap. So, I don't get it. I think my post.
Racing by Jeff.
I think my post with the rules is pretty clear.
That is fastest through and not first across the line.
Yeah.
I think we might have a man on the course segment here. Did Bowser just join us?
I think Bowser left the course.
I left the course.
Oh, you left the course. Man off the course.
Man off the course.
Off the course.
Man in the gutter.
Man on the team bus. How was your race? Your abbreviated race?
Terrible. I was looking forward to racing the Seas. It's a good course. But right when the banner dropped, it just kicked me to go to a pace partner.
Oh.
Oh,
I thought for a minute the Bs were going to go calm enough, and it just was just a bit too much.
Yeah. So the C's just went through the sprint as well. If Nate wasn't first that time, he was close. So yeah, definitely solid sprinting by Nate. So Bowser, we're watching Mark Wingman as our substitute after you left in the Bs now. So he seems to be doing pretty well. What did you think of the group in the time you were in it?
So I saw him in there in the Herd jersey, so I knew I wasn't alone. But I don't know. They pushed right at the end of the climb up to out of the lead-in, and that just was like a bit too much. So when the sprint came, the Broad Street sprint, I had nothing. It just was lost cause.
Yeah. No, I get that. Definitely get that.
And that's that fine
definitely
line
tough
between
when that.
and softening legs up that last climb and versus staying in the biggest group. So that's that tipping point right there.
Yeah, how's Nate doing? Is he pushing early? I feel like he jumps early a lot.
Actually, there's somebody else that was jumping early, so he got the fastest time. He definitely got the fastest time first lap. So somebody went by him right before the segment start, and he had just a perfect toe. So yeah, it worked out perfectly for Nate that time. But yeah, he definitely seems like he's jumping a little bit earlier than I would anyway.
Yeah, I think he's he's getting his fitness back, but I know he's been trying to time his sprints better, so I'm just interested.
Yeah. So no, I would agree. I think he's going a little early for fastest time, where yeah, he's already to the front before the segment starts. So, and the Bs are into the segment right now. So Mark's going hard. Well positioned, though I think he left it a little bit late. He's come through most of the pack, though, and he improved his time from the first lap, so good on him.
Brilliant.
Well, although it does look like most of the group did.
Not easy to improve the time with tired legs.
No, definitely not.
And speaking of which, I think Jeff's doing a pretty decent job of saving the legs on the rest of the lap here. Are they down to 5? They still have somebody off the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know. I don't know if they're off the front or off the back.
So, okay, we went from 6 to 5. So somebody either off the front or off the back or both in the D group. Not sure why. This is that 3% drag where Axinger is making a go of it. I would not drop a power up here. Looks like Jeff is dropping a feather. There's no.
I might drop a feather there. The feather's not useful enough on the sprint, but yeah.
Well, I feel like if it's the one-time segment every lap, I mean, you can up your watts per kilogram.
Yep.
And there's no point in dropping it. Stick with a solo rider off the front.
No,
I feel like it would marginally be better on the sprint. It's not the one to have on the sprint, but it would be marginally better to drop it there than here. But
so it looks like
potato.
Yeah. So Achinger hooked on to Mew in the A's.
Yep. And that's fine. They can go have their fun, just the two of them. I think you're going to get a stronger draft here.
Yeah.
With the 4, even though it's D's, but I mean, if he can stick with Mew on the A sprint, then more power to him. He will not be in the D's next time.
There's something to that.
Yep.
Stuart's also latching on, getting onto the C group now. I wonder if he's gonna ride with him or just push through.
Looks like push through is the
I think
option.
push through, yeah. Looks like that's what he's decided.
There's a pack of pretty experienced herd riders right here in the C's, actually.
There is, yeah.
Totally.
So what is it?
We
Chevelle.
got D's coming from the D's now, so this is Jeff's time to punch it up here. Instead of going with a single A rider, you want to stick with a couple of C's. Like, this is the way to go. That's absolutely smart racing right there.
Yep.
So now he's reformed a group of 4, maybe 5. I don't know. Zwift is terrible at this. Yeah, 5, but 2 of them are C's. So better toe, better markers, better carrots up the road. Rather than burning your match to go with a single A like Axinger did.
Yep.
More power to him for being able to stick with that, but this is the smarter race move. So
Yeah, if you see or D rider to try and keep up with a solo A that's just on the loose, that's gonna burn matches.
Well, I think he's
yeah,
already been kicked loose from Mew. He's 4 or 5 seconds back. So
yeah, so he might recover in time for the sprint, probably not. And then these guys are, I mean, if they're smart, they up the pace, they just ditch him right out the back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even have a chance to latch on, and they beat him in the sprint, and they beat him on the next 4 sprints as a result. So.
So Tatum, Mark is suggested that you should leave the pen and try to win the A race.
If I quickly go get shoes on, jump on the bike, because I am still in the race.
Absolutely.
It's a good point opportunity there, Tatum. I would just go for it.
I just need to nail every segment as I leave the pen. Oh.
Okay, and the D's are approaching the sprint again.
D's are back on it, yeah, with a good group.
Yeah, they're all together here now. Jeff seems...
Hello.
Yeah, he's starting to go now. I think he left that pretty late this lap.
They've got a C or 2 in the group with them. That's also pushing the pace.
Yeah, but maybe you leave it a little bit late and you carry the speed after the line and reconnect with everybody in case these C's don't back off anymore.
Yeah.
And then you've got a bigger group for the next laps. And we got Stuart Lynn in here too, so.
Yep. And good on Stuart. I mean, I've definitely I've been off the back on long races with many laps in HSRL and gotten the fastest lap or the fastest time on a later lap riding with somebody from a lower category. So yeah, it's definitely doable.
Oh yeah. What if he's eyeing to get back to Mew? Because he is pushing on.
The cat and mouse in the C's is hilarious. People, it was like 200 meters to the sprint, and everybody was doing 0.0, trying to get to the back.
That's the danger of it. I saw that in the B race earlier. Like if we were, the field was about 40, and we were only 10 or 12 in the front group, and people were doing the same thing. So if you don't push the pace, the groups behind you are going to beat you on the line on the FTS.
Yeah.
So there's something to going from like 1K out before the roundabout to make sure other people chase you to up the pace, and then falling back, and then going for it. Like it's.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Is that juggle to try and get your position? Because that's exactly that. Because you go too slow, you can fall off. If you go slow, you slow the pace. But if you speed it up, you can start the sprint way ahead. It really is a juggle.
Yeah, and it's not just the position within your group. You have to judge how many other groups are on the road and what speed they're going to be going out. Because if you're side-eyeing everybody in your group and not paying attention to the people behind, then they're just going to blow you out of the water, and you're going to be, maybe you win the group, but you're 21st on the road.
All I know is I'm super jealous of this C pace. I see Nate doing 0.9 watts per kilo. That's more my style.
That's definitely your style. So Mark is sprinting strong. So he set another fastest time. So he's been faster each lap. As we go on. So he's got, I think he's got 2 more. Am I losing count?
Yeah, we can't see the bars.
No, we can't see the bars.
Trying to judge it on distance, but the whole race is, 33, 34?
Something like that, maybe? I can't say that I'm entirely sure. Yeah, so somebody in the D's or the C's, I think, just commented the B's were gonna catch them, and I think that's probably a good call.
Yeah.
I think that was somebody in the second group, and yeah, they're absolutely gonna catch the second group. We'll see about the first group of C's,
and that will definitely push their pace a little.
Yeah.
It looks like Dennis and maybe Mark got sick of the slow pace.
Oh, yes, I see. Yeah. Now I gotta check. What is...
Looks like they dropped Allen. Nate is pushing at 5.5 to get back on. A little cheeky attack here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, look at that. So there is...
Yeah,
there is... Sorry, go ahead, Tatum.
Oh, no. I'm just saying there's a gap.
Yeah, and so there is somebody up the road a few seconds. Kane. So, there's the potential that if you bridge, you've got somebody as well. So there's... that's when things start to get interesting.
I gotta laugh at some of the comments.
I saw that too.
Thanks, dude. Full send, thanks. Love it.
Anyway, Jeff is doing a great job not being in the front now. He backed out so his nose is not in the wind. Well done, Jeff. But he is riding with fellow herd members Paul Dennison and is it Paul?
I believe it is Paul Kelleher.
And Paul Kelleher? We 2 Pauls? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Makes it easier for me. And we do have a Sea Cat coming through solo. Initially pulled through and now has just kind of stayed up the road. Looks like they're trying to bridge up to him or her. Might be worth it, might not be.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's, if I were that Sea Rider, I would stick with this group. But
yeah, I think he's committed to breakaway for the win now. So I get it, but looks like he's got almost 20 seconds on the chase group. So I get it. I wouldn't want to sit. I think the better play is to sit in the group anyway. But if that's his play, might as well. You got to keep going.
Yeah, depends on what race you're
Yeah.
trying to win. So that's fine. But there's a big group of C's 10 seconds back of Jeff. God, I just wonder if it would just be worth just soft pedaling here
Waiting for him.
and taking that toe and just winning this sprint.
The answer is yes, it would be.
110%. Yeah.
Lay off the power right now. 9 seconds now. If they keep up it, Jeff's got his nose out in the wind doing 1.5. I don't know if they're going to reconnect in time. Maybe they will. 7 now.
My gut tells me after the last C sprint where everybody was just trying not to go, I think somebody's going to go a lot earlier and safer this time, so they're going to pass them.
Okay, yeah, they're going to connect right here around the roundabout on the other side of this monument.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and you just got to go with them. Lay off the power for like 2 seconds and then lead into it.
Sounds like fun.
And this is the fun of multi-lap mixed category racing.
Loads of fun.
All right, here we go. Mixed cat sprint. C's coming through now. Perfect.
Whew. They
Just
are
hook on the
flying.
wheel here.
Yeah, they are flying.
And that's some good vacuum drafting there by Jeff.
It's really big numbers that these guys are pushing on their sprints.
C's can sprint, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
seeing that.
C's have a lot of like beer power in their legs.
Yeah, power. Beer power is like beer power, just better.
I'm finally seeing a sprint leaderboard, but it's unrelated to anything that I just watched. So I don't know how these guys are scoring.
That's the other thing in a race like this now, to keep back and think and wonder where are you on the scoreboard in the rankings at the moment. That's a tough one to keep track of. You don't know where you are.
You don't know where you are, so you just have to do your absolute max at all times and just see how it shakes out, right? So that's good.
Whew, Mark Wingman. Wow.
What did Mark do?
Okay. He didn't improve on his time, so I'm not really sure.
He just gave a good sprint.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mark.
Really good sprint.
Yeah, so friend of the broadcast, Jeff Aldrich, still going. And as they come through, Mark Perks is in the C's. We've got him going as the C's get ready to
The C group comes down to who clings onto the B's, right?
It often does. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at the times.
I mean, that might not be till the last lap. Right now, it looks like they're a good minute and a half behind. I mean, if any of the C's that they're catching right now are able to hook on, good on them. And yeah, definitely a way to get brought back to, or at least towards, the front.
Yeah, Mark's group is not doing 0.9 anymore. There's like some little attacks that are keeping the speed up, so they might not get caught.
Well, they've definitely decided to up it a bit.
Okay, looking at the D's, we've got Paul Kelleher is now 40 seconds up the road. Jeff Aldrich is riding with Kilsby. And yeah, so it looks like the additional riders are in between these two and the front. So
Both the Pauls up the road, right?
yep, looks like. And in the same group with that big C group. So two of them are in there, and then Mike Atchiner is out in front, hanging on to the lead pair of C's, Kane and Rothman.
I'm a fan of what Jeff is doing here. Like, there's no sense in going at 3.5 because he's already sitting in 5th position on the road, right? So
yeah,
the higher percentage comes from the primes, and you've got a C group. God, the leaderboard's all screwed up. Let's assume there's a C group somewhere behind him that you can latch onto. I like this. Try to take it easy, save your match, and just lay it all out on the primes, and no need to press in between it. I like it.
Yep, that's the game.
Yeah, there's some B's 30 seconds back, so Mark Wingman leading that group. So, yeah, we'll see how that all comes together.
Yeah. He's been on the front a fair bit here, which I wouldn't recommend, but he's doing it.
It's like to see this group of Nate with a lot of her jerseys in the group.
A lot of her jerseys with like a lot of experience in this league, and
Yep.
and Bullseye.
Oh yes, they know what they're doing there.
Although this entire lap, there's been a few attacks. It looks like they're finally just going to let this guy tire himself out off the front. I've been watching some little micro attack efforts they've been having to put in.
Fair play to Nate, he's actually closed down 1 or 2, and I think he's just decided to stick with a bunch now.
Let them dangle is what I always say.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got this B group, maybe 15 seconds off the back now of Jeff and his one riding partner here, our friend Kilsby. So this might be a well-timed catch. This might blow his sprint strategy to shit. We will see.
I honestly think he's probably better off hooking on we're close enough. He's better off hooking on wherever he passes.
Yeah, I would say so. But the question for me is, are they going to catch him too soon? That he blows his energy trying to hook on, and then they go for the sprint, and he doesn't have anything left, and they disappear. Because now we're at 5 seconds, and they're doing 2.9, 3.0.
Yep.
This would 100% be my strategy. I just want to see how it plays out here. This is why we come here, right? This is the allure of Herd Summer Racing League. And here comes the catch. Can he hook on? Can he stick with this group up until the sprint? There he goes. Big dig. Looks to be latched on.
Oh, solid.
Looks to be well and truly. And that was why we saved that match. That's why we didn't go up the road with the Pauls. There we go. And now you've got a group of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18, we'll say 20, coming onto the cobbles, going around the monument roundabout, and hitting the sprint 20 strong, having not gone up the road at 3.5 watts per kilogram. This should be a really strong sprint from Jeff. Well done, good racecraft.
Definitely.
Get a
Hitting
faster
the roundabout
time.
now. Yep, absolutely. This is the strategery that we come here for.
Strategic.
So good job, Jeff.
Oh, that's a lot.
And good job being towards the front here, too, because you're with a bunch of C's, right? You don't want to necessarily dangle, because then they'll be off. If you can stick with these guys after the banner. I'm sorry, these are B's. B's and C's, mixed group. The more you can stick with after the banner, if they settle down, the stronger next lap is going to be. So, great positioning. Keep up the power all the way to the banner. Power on, power on, power on. 600 watts. Good job, Jeff. Great job. And now reconnect.
Yeah, good sprint by Marty in that
Reconnect.
group as well. So he hit another fastest time at 13:64 now.
Yep. Good job. And now you've got a couple of riders in front of you, a couple of riders behind you. You can kind of recoalesce. You can let the really motivated people go up the road. There's no sense in turning yourself inside out and just destroying your next lap. Save the energy.
Not at this point.
No. Yeah, save the energy. You can strategically do the same thing next lap. Just depends on how the race develops and where riders are.
Yep.
Good job, Jeff.
Eight.
Okay, so this BC group is definitely the biggest group on course. Looks to be approaching 20 riders if it isn't quite. So, yeah, they're very likely going to show that.
Is that
just
the
how
group
fast they
about
are.
a minute or so behind Nate's group?
Yeah, I think so.
They're not doing enough to catch them, though.
Okay.
Probably not. I'd agree. Yeah, they're still a minute back. I think that group is probably safe. Okay, so it looks like Jeff did get knocked off the back, and so did the C's. It looks like it's just the B's left in that group now.
Oh, come on, C's.
But it looks like Jeff hung on longer than the C's because they're sitting 8 seconds behind him.
I think Nate's going to attack. He gets impatient when things are this slow, getting towards the end.
The whole time I can see he shoots a bit forward, then he waits, shoots a bit forward, and he waits. He's planning something.
His power's getting a lot better recently. I think he's almost back to like a 300 watt FTP. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was talking to him the other night. I think he's up around. Well, he's very similar to me actually. I'm just a slightly smaller human. But yeah, right around 300 FTP, or just under.
Slightly smaller. I don't know what you'd call me then. Minute human.
I think at this next bend, that's where I'm calling an attack. I don't know if he's texting up the other herd in this group, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I guess that, there's some sort of communication going on there. At least I hope so. I always think it's more fun if they are.
I've got my eye on Nate now. I'm very interested to see what he's planning there.
Yeah. So it does look like Jeff, Ed, and Mark Perks are actually all on the Herd Racing League channel.
I was just checking that too. Yeah, noticing that.
Which is pretty funny.
And I would encourage anyone who's riding this in the future or in future weeks, hop on Discord on the Herd Racing League. You can coordinate even between categories, and it's much more fun to suffer together than to suffer alone. So,
and sometimes you can pull one over on somebody that's not on there, which is always a lot of fun. So it looks like there's a group behind Jeff that's gonna catch him. That is
Let's hope he latches.
So it looks small. I think it's just 3. There's a D and 2 C's. So
that's reasonable that he would hook onto this. So much better to go into here with 4
yep.
Than 3. So very smart.
major
this is the
attack.
strategy.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
And they have Ryan or Wang, who's a really good sprinter. I'm sure is going to latch on here. He's in B. I think he's been in A before.
He's been a super solid B. I've raced him a lot in B, so.
I think Dennis just had enough. It's going to work perfectly for Nate.
Oh, and off they go.
It's working pretty well for Mark Perks too, because he was in the dangle in that long one, and he's working his way through on that sprint, which is going to accelerate that group. So they've got a pretty good group if they keep the power on a little bit. Oh, it looks like Mark is sat up, so is Nate, but some of the guys are pushing on with it. So
Is that their last lap?
oh, that was the last lap. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why they were going so hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I lost count.
And this is Jeff's finishing banner coming up too. So he's got Killsby in this group too that he has to beat for 4th on the road.
Yeah. And remember, that is 4 points for the position too. So that's the same as beating him by 1 position on 4 of the 8. Oh, he's using a power up really early. I don't know if that's a sweat drop or if he's feeling pressure.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be just a quick micro recovery move, and then you can blast it from 800 meters out. Those C's kind of went up the road, kicking each other right in the groin, so they are not to be seen again. It's just mano a mano here with Killsby.
Yeah, looks like Mark Wingman came in at about so he was towards the back of that group he was in, but definitely very solid, and hit his fastest sprint in the last lap and went under 13 seconds finally.
Fantastic.
We got Jeff and Killsby just turned the roundabout on the final finishing straight here. Pretty much side by side, give or take, depending on the wind and or Zwift packet loss. Hitting the final sprint line now. Jeff has got about a bike length, but Killsby is up.
Yeah.
Full sprint.
Killsby went
Everybody
first.
power up.
Killsby went first, and I think that's enough.
But no, he's got too big of a gap.
Yeah.
But really, really smart racing by Jeff. He, again, the name of the game is Hammer the Primes, right? So he had some smart racing and got elevated on some of those. So well done, Jeff.
It's great racing.
Yeah, so we've got couple of kilometers to watch Stewart bring it in here. So he's Mew, I think, figured out the race here, and he's back. He has backed off quite a lot. So
Yeah, I think he realized it's got it.
yeah, so I think it's gonna be just a couple minutes here for Stewart to roll in.
Bit of a lonely race for him.
Well, I mean, if three start and one drops out partway through after, I mean, Matt helped break that group too. So
Yeah, he did. Well, let's say 4 joined the pen, 1 remained behind.
yeah. Okay.
I wonder what the numbers for the rest of the weekend are going to be like. Because I think this is the lowest that I've seen it for a while.
Yeah.
Shows what the weather.
And it surprises me. I mean, this is
It's a lovely course. It's one of the nicest.
It is, especially for the format. So yeah, I was surprised the numbers are a little low. I think it is. A lot of it is weather. I mean, I do have my my first outdoor race of the season tomorrow, so I definitely get it. But yeah, it's interesting to see.
Good luck with that. Hope it goes well.
Well, thank you. I'm going to be interesting. Brand new start gate to learn. So, but there hasn't been a practice on the new gate, so everybody's the same.
Okay. I think Stuart is on his last lap.
Yeah, on his last lap. Yeah, he's moving along just fine, but yeah, just gonna take that a couple rights and a left, and then it'll be down Monument to the finish. Oh,
I think a handful of riders still on the course.
yeah, it looks like just a couple. Looks like Ed Whedon's just finishing now as well.
Mew is cooling down, it seems,
Yeah, looks like.
mid-race. Or end race.
I mean, that's really tough. Like once that gap got out that far, it's really, there's no hill. There's no point where anybody's going to be under pressure. So as you put the power up to close, they're going to see you. So it's tough to pull that gap in.
And
Stewart makes the left onto Monument. Yeah. Oh, what's that item?
Yeah, even putting out that amount of power, the high 3s, 4s, for this amount of time, their legs are tired now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely not nothing.
And Stuart's actually closed half the gap in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he's in sight actually.
Yeah.
It's if Stewart gives it here, it's in play. No, Mew's sprinting it.
Is going, yeah. He brought it down from 40 to sub 10 seconds.
Yeah.
In the last kilometer.
So I think Mew didn't realize that the that last sprint doesn't count for time, but anyway, it didn't end up making a difference.
No.
And as Stewart crosses the line, congratulations to all the racers we showed tonight and everybody in the race. Great race. And
well done, guys.
And if you were watching this as a reconnaissance, good luck this weekend in your own races.
Fantastic. And hope you all have a good weekend.
Okay. So thanks, Chris. Thanks, Tatum. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.